So many things have to click when you're designing brand identity. The look, the feel, the messaging. So the brand can position itself exactly where it wants to be. Today, I'm gonna show you my full brand identity process that is not just pretty, but actually functional. But first, let's meet the brand. Reverb is marketing and content agency specialized in Web3 area. Basically, they help Web3 brands show stronger on Web2 platforms like YouTube, LinkedIn, Instagram by making videos for them, copywriting, editing, etc. So here's a quick look at the process we are going through to build this brand. Brand strategy is first and most important part when building a brand. This is where we define the key information that will shape the brand: messaging, look, feel, target audience, user persona, mission, vision, values, etc. Everything visual that we create later, like logos, fonts, colors, has to be aligned with strategy. Without strategy, you will end up with just pretty brand that doesn't work at all. So here's a quick overview of the strategy I built for Reverb. Feel free to pause the video if you want a closer look. After the client approved the strategy, I created two slightly different mood boards in order to help the client to feel the brand direction that we want to go. It is crucial to explain the client thinking process about each mood boards so they can better understand what we are thinking. Here is a mood board 1 and here is a mood board 2. The client chose the first one. Bold logos, clean typography, vibrant colors, techie vibe, but with a strong 2D elements, because most of their competitors are using 3D, so they wanted to go with 2D. Once the strategy and direction are locked in, it's time to create the asset everyone notices first. The one that identifies the business and stays in the people's mind. Once the strategy and directions are locked in, it's time to create a logo. But before I even start designing, I need to decide what will be the main identifier of this brand. Would it be an icon, a wordmark, or an emblem? In this case, it is going to be an icon. Since most of the brand will live digitally, the icon will carry the most weight. And then we will build a full logo system around it. Horizontal variation, vertical variation, maybe submark if needed. So let's see how it went. The first step is extracting keywords and building mind map. It helps me connect abstract ideas like Web2, Web3, content, marketing to tangible shapes and visual forms. So I can actually design something that communicates those ideas into something simple as a logo. So this is what my mind map looked like. And the reverb is actually sound reflecting through space. So that open up directions like sound waves, concentric circles, regular waves, signals, lines, etc. Next, we move into sketching. The goal is connecting as many elements as possible from mind map. Here's a quick look at some of the sketches. As you can see, some are more abstract, some are more obvious, and I explored a bunch of different directions. In the end, I choose 3 concepts that I like and I brought them into Illustrator to see if they actually work as a logo. All of that is happening inside Web3 space, which I presented through pixels. And this became foundation for all other assets that we are going to build for this brand. It also solved the core challenge, connecting Web3 and Web2 worlds. Now at one point I used to create 3 completely different directions and with full presentation and show them to the client. But I realized that approach isn't good for me nor for a client. First of all, it takes massive amount of time to create 3 completely different full brand identities. And then I ask myself, imagine I invest all of that time into one concept. Second, when you send 3 concepts, you often ended up with client choosing logo from the first presentation, colors from the second presentation, and font from the third presentation, and it's all messed up. So this approach for me is much better. One concept, full concentration, and I fully believe in this one. Of course, everyone has their own way of presenting. I respect that. This is my way and I don't care if you like it. Sometimes is other way around. You start with wordmark and then adjusting icon to fit the wordmark. But this time we created icon first and wordmark next. Here's a pro tip. Spend time on wordmark and name as much as you spend on icon. That's how you will create that full feeling that you want. And it will look much more professional. Sometimes wordmark honestly is just a font, but sometimes you need to customize it in order to achieve that feeling that you want. In this case, it would be too boring and too bland if we use just some sans serif font. So I brought that challenge that we had connecting Web3 and Web2 worlds. I brought the brand story into actual wordmark by swapping a few letters into a pixel style font. So we ended up with simple readable wordmark that it has something on its own. And now it's time to pick a color palette. If we go back to the mood board, you will see a lot of bold colors, a lot of bright colors, a lot of blacks, and a lot of tech vibe. After testing a few color palettes, I ended up on this yellow. And I decided not to overcomplicate it with color palette. Just two colors, black and yellow. Since we will have a lot of different assets like textures, typography with mixed fonts, etc. So I kept it simple. Two base colors and one accent color. And that's it. Next, I built a verbal identity. A tagline and a few lines that will be used on ads, marketing, social media, website, etc. And the next thing, I created patterns with that pixel vibe that will be used on print, like business cards, posters, maybe some banners on websites or social media. After that, I create a full presentation with everything that I built so far and actually present that to the client. In this case, we also create showreel animation. And that's it. The client absolutely loved it and approved the project. After that, I created a brand book with all of those assets in order to help the client to be consistent. In that book, you can find everything like brand strategy, logo construction, color palettes, fonts, verbal identity, how not to use logo, how to use logo, print, web, etc. With this brand book, client will maintain consistency through every touch point of its brand, and it can work with other designers, editors, animators, different businesses, etc. Finally, my favorite part, client testimonial, which you can watch after I sign off of this video. Thank you for watching all the way through the end. I really put an effort on this video and I hope you really enjoyed it. Drop a like and subscribe, it really motivates me to keep creating videos like this. And I'll see you in the next one. Ciao!
I'm Luca, CEO of Reverb. We're a Web3 native media production house, and we've been working with Sava for the last couple of months. When we started working together, we only had a name, nothing else. Sava helped us craft a visual identity, brand identity from scratch. I was impressed with how he was able to understand how we wanted our audience to perceive us and what we wanted from the brand. He had a clear vision and put everything we wanted into a clear brand design. He also helped us with pitch decks, social content design, anything extra we asked him for. Working with Sava has been amazing. I would definitely recommend them to anyone, especially startups. They have a clear vision but don't know how to put it on paper.